Representatives of the Dallas and Fort Worth Building Trades Councils are to issue what they call the most important statement or proposal ever made by union labor in the North Central Texas area. Charles Campo, Executive Secretary of the Fort Worth Council, told me earlier today by telephone that the councils are vitally concerned with the construction of the regional airport and that tonight's proposal will deal at least partially with the new facility. But he would not elaborate. The unions have had some minor difficulties at the construction site of the airport, with walkouts and picket lines causing some temporary work stoppages. Whether tonight's statement will come in the form of an ultimatum or a threat or as a constructive proposal is a matter at the moment for conjecture. But by the 10 o'clock news tonight, we should know. From the Inn of Six Flags, Jerry Taff, Channel 8 News, reporting. Accomplish with this proposed union group?
What we have hopes of doing is consistent with what President Nixon has proposed in the last few days, that labor and management join together as a joint committee on projects of great magnitude and try to resolve any disputes that occur on the projects before they cause any unnecessary shutdowns, delays, or expensive jurisdictional disputes.
I asked Upchurch whether what he was saying in essence was that there would be no labor interruptions to the building of the regional airport. His response was, no, I can't go that far, but we certainly hope it will hold them to a minimum. From the Inn of the Six Flags at Arlington, Jerry Taff, Channel 8 News, reporting.
I think there's an increasing awareness that we have a problem on a large scale, and that this is starting to be recognized by scientists as well as the laymen, and that there's going to be an increasing effort to abate and control air pollution.
It's very apparent that America's scientists and federal agencies are aware of the problem, and you would think the public would be too, but public apathy apparently plays a large part in any action taken by Congress. How large a part does it play?
Well, I think it does play some part. Not all the people are exposed to the obvious effects of air pollution. Much of it is somewhat insidious and obscure. Many of the people do not see the effects. A lot of the effects are hidden, and the costs are hidden. However, I think as a larger percentage of the people in this country, in fact in the world, become educated to the effects of air pollution, both direct and indirect, you will see what it is costing them in money, in materials, and possibly in health, and will respond to trying to do something about it.
How do you envision an enlarged role of the school health service?
Well, I think the traditional concept of school health has been confined primarily to a service, a health service to school children. I believe that in the past, through our school nurses, we have rendered health service. I do not wish to minimize the role of the nurse in rendering health service, because we continue and will continue to render health service to the school child. But I think the philosophy of those of us who are now in what we like to call school health, which now is a specialty in itself, Those of us in this field, particularly those of us who are in an administrative capacity and are planning policies for our...
Of taking this field out of the isolation that it had been, what do you mean by this?
Well, I think our concept before was that we were just rendering health service. We were attached to a school. The health office was just putting a little bit of medical practice in the school. The nurse was right there to provide the health needs of the child during the school day. I believe that in the future we envision that this is part of our service, but we're going to become more involved in the health education and in the other areas.
What about the nurse? Will she still stay just in the school, or will she be going out? How is her role as administrator of this program? You'll also be consultant on school policies. How much of a part will you play in developing school policies on health, or how much of a part do you feel you should play?
I feel that school policy is made by the representatives of the community, the school board, on the recommendations of the administrator, in whom they have placed the confidence to administer school policies. The administrator therefore advises the school board on policies. He is the consultant. I am his consultant if it involves the area of health. I see myself therefore as the consultant in health to the administrator. I will not make the health policies of the school myself. I will suggest and will make my recommendations to the administrator, who will then advise the school board of the policies which we feel are good policies which will work. And this is how I see my role in helping to make school policies regarding health matters.
You're just new in your job, but